Every life is a story told in chronological order. It begins on a specific day, in a specific place, and unfolds moment by moment, chapter by chapter, until it reaches its end. This is the story of Matthew Mindler, and to understand its heartbreaking conclusion, we must begin where his story did, not under the bright lights of a Hollywood studio, but in the quiet, ordinary embrace of a small American town. Matthew Mindler was born on November the 23rd, 2001, to his mother, Monica Mindler, in Hellertown, a small borough in Northampton County, Pennsylvania. His arrival came just months after the seismic events of September 11th, 2001, when the United States was grappling with a newfound sense of vulnerability and collective anxiety. This broader national mood contrasted sharply with the sheltered, nurturing environment of Matthew's early life. Hellertown, a tight-knit community with deep historical roots tied to the American steel industry, offered a sense of stability and resilience. Defined by its practical ethos and quiet, tree-lined streets, the town provided a grounded backdrop for Matthew's formative years, shielding him from the broader uncertainties of the world and allowing his childhood to unfold in a setting of relative simplicity and security. Growing up in Hellertown, Matthew's early years were marked by a sense of normalcy and joy. By all accounts, he was a bright, creative, and energetic child, full of curiosity and enthusiasm. His mother, Monica, noticed a natural spark in him, an unself-conscious charisma that set him apart. Matthew's charm was effortless, a boyish quality that radiated authenticity and ease. Unlike some children who might shy away from attention, he seemed to gravitate toward it naturally, comfortable in his own skin and eager to express himself. This innate talent hinted at a potential for performance, even in a town far removed from the glitz and glamour of the entertainment industry. Hellertown's community-oriented atmosphere, with its emphasis on family resilience and local pride, fostered an environment where Matthew could explore his creativity while remaining grounded in a supportive small-town setting. As Matthew grew, his natural charisma and comfort with self-expression became increasingly evident. His mother recognized these qualities early on, noting that he didn't need encouragement to step into the spotlight. It was as if he was drawn to it instinctively. This spark set him apart from his peers in Hellertown, who were more likely to spend their days playing in local parks or participating in school activities. Matthew's ease in front of others suggested a path that would diverge significantly from the typical childhood experiences of his friends. His ability to connect with people, combined with his genuine enthusiasm, laid the foundation for a journey into the professional world of acting, a world that would demand far more structure, discipline, and maturity than the carefree routines of his small-town life. In 2009, at the age of 8, Matthew took his first official step into the world of professional acting, marking a significant shift from his ordinary childhood in Hellertown. He landed a role in an episode of As the World Turns, a long-running CBS daytime drama known for its intense production schedule and emotional depth. For a young actor, a soap opera role was a formidable introduction to the industry. The pace was relentless, with tight schedules requiring rapid memorization of lines and the ability to deliver emotionally charged performances on cue. Matthew navigated this high-pressure environment with remarkable poise, earning his first professional credit and demonstrating a level of professionalism that belied his age. This role was not merely a one-off appearance. It signaled the start of a serious acting career, requiring him to balance schoolwork, travel, and the demands of a job that placed him in an adult-driven, highly structured world far removed from the simplicity of Hellertown. Following his debut on As the World Turns, Matthew began to build a portfolio as a young actor. In addition to his soap opera role, he appeared in commercials, becoming one of the many hopeful young faces in American media. These advertisements allowed him to hone his craft in a different format, where concise performances and broad appeal were key. Each role, whether on television or in commercials, demanded discipline, adaptability, and the ability to perform under the scrutiny of directors and cameras. For an 8-year-old, this meant juggling long hours on set, memorizing scripts, and adhering to professional expectations while still maintaining his education through tutoring. These early experiences solidified Matthew's commitment to acting, transforming what might have started as a creative outlet into a full-fledged career that set him on a path distinct from his peers and introduced him to the complexities of the entertainment industry. For the next year, Matthew and his mother balanced the demands of his burgeoning career with the realities of a childhood in Pennsylvania. It was a life of auditions, callbacks, and time spent on sets, a stark contrast to the lives of his friends back home. Then in 2010, an opportunity arose that would catapult him from the ranks of working child actors to a place of genuine recognition. He was cast in a new film, a smart, character-driven comedy with an impeccable ensemble cast. The film was called Our Idiot Brother. Filming took place in and around New York City during the summer of 2010. For a 9-year-old boy, it must have been an exhilarating experience. He was working alongside a roster of actors who were not just stars, but widely respected for their talent. Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, Zooey Deschanel, Emily Mortimer, and Steve Coogan. Matthew was cast in the pivotal role of River, the son of Liz, played by Emily Mortimer, and Dylan, a documentary filmmaker played by Steve Coogan. River is the quiet, watchful center of his chaotic family, a boy who seems to possess a wisdom and sensitivity that the adults around him often lack. It was a role that required subtlety and intelligence, and Matthew delivered a performance that was both natural and deeply memorable. The film premiered at the prestigious Sundance Film Festival in January of 2011, where it was met with positive reviews. On August 22, 2011, Matthew attended the New York City premiere. Photographs from that night show a confident, smiling 10-year-old, posing on the red carpet with his famous co-stars. He looked every bit the promising young star. When the film was released nationwide just a few days later, on August 26, 2011, audiences across the country were introduced to his talent. His performance was noted by critics, and for a moment Matthew Mindler was a recognized name, a face associated with a successful, well-regarded film. In the years following the success of Our Idiot Brother, Matthew continued to work. He appeared in a 2013 short film called Frequency, and in 2015 he made a brief but memorable appearance in a segment on the popular HBO show Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. His final credited role came in 2016 in a television movie titled Chad, An American Boy. He was navigating the notoriously difficult transition from a child actor to a teenage performer, a period when many young careers falter. He was, by all measures, still in the game, but sometime during this period a profound internal shift was taking place. The work of an actor, particularly for a child, is a relentless cycle of hope and rejection. For every role landed, there are dozens of auditions that lead nowhere. The pressure is immense, and the passion that once fueled the journey can easily be extinguished by the demanding realities of the business. Around 2016, after 7 years as a professional actor, Matthew made a life-altering decision. He confided in his mother that he had fallen out of love with acting. The joy was gone. He wanted to stop. This was not a fleeting sentiment. It was a firm, considered choice. To walk away from a career that had defined his entire childhood was an act of immense personal courage. It was an attempt to reclaim his own narrative, to step off the path that had been laid out for him and forge one of his own. He wanted what he had missed out on, a normal life. He wanted to go to high school, to focus on his studies, to discover who he was outside the context of a film set or an audition room. And so, the Hollywood chapter of his life came to a quiet close. Matthew Mindler retired from acting at the age of 15. He returned to Hellertown, Pennsylvania, and enrolled in high school. For the next few years, he lived the life he had chosen. He was no longer Matthew the actor. He was just Matt, a teenager navigating the universal trials of adolescence. He focused on his education, explored his own interests, and successfully graduated. He had, to all outside appearances, achieved his goal. He had left the extraordinary world of entertainment behind and had seamlessly integrated back into the ordinary world he had craved. The next logical step in this new self-authored life was college. In August of 2021, Matthew Mindler, now 19 years old, prepared to embark on that next chapter. He had been accepted as a freshman at Millersville University, a public university in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. It was a new town, a new environment, and a chance to build a new identity, completely separate from his past. He had plans to study computer science, a field that interested him and offered a stable, predictable future. On Thursday, August 19th, 2021, Matthew and his mother, Monica, made the drive to Millersville. They moved his belongings into his room in the West Village's dormitory complex. It was a day filled with the typical mix of excitement and nerves that accompanies any college move-in day. In the days that followed, Matthew seemed to be adjusting well. He was in constant contact with his mother, a lifeline of support as he navigated this new terrain. He told her that he was busy, that he was enjoying his first taste of college life. He had already spoken with some new acquaintances about the possibility of starting a computer programming club on campus. He had even scheduled an interview for a job with the university's IT department. From Monica's perspective, everything seemed to be on track. Her son was taking the initiative, making plans, and beginning to build his new life. However, Monica was acutely aware of the anxiety that had been a persistent, if often hidden, companion for her son for many years. She knew this transition would be a major challenge for him. Worried about the potential for him to feel overwhelmed, she made a plan. She told Matthew that she would drive out to Millersville that coming Friday, August 27th, to pick him up and bring him home for the weekend. It would be a chance for him to decompress, to escape the pressures of his new environment, and to recharge in the familiar comfort of home before diving back into his studies. He seemed agreeable to the plan. Tuesday, August 24th, 2021, was a normal day of classes for the new freshman. He attended his lectures, and as evening fell, he returned to his dorm. But something inside him had reached a breaking point. The quiet, crippling anxiety that his mother knew he battled, an anxiety he was so skilled at concealing, was surging. At 8:11 p.m. that evening, a security camera on the exterior of the West Village's residence hall recorded Matthew as he walked out of the building. He was dressed in a white Millersville University hooded sweatshirt with black stripes on the arms, black jeans, and white sneakers. He had a black backpack slung over his shoulders and was wearing a black face mask. The footage shows him walking purposefully away from the dorm, across a parking lot, and in the direction of the Centennial Drive area. He did not look back. He simply walked out of the frame and into the night. That night, Matthew did not return to his dorm room. On Wednesday, August 25th, he was absent from his classes. His family, unable to reach him, grew increasingly frantic. Every call to his phone went unanswered, straight to voicemail. Monica's text messages, which had previously shown up as iMessages, were now going through as standard green text, an ominous sign that his phone was either turned off or out of service range. Her last message to him, confirming her plan to pick him up on Friday, was never replied to. By Wednesday evening, Monica was deeply concerned. She contacted his roommate, who confirmed that no one had seen Matthew since the previous night. The alarm was officially raised. On Thursday, August 26th, after he had been missing for more than 24 hours, university officials and his family formally reported him missing to the police. Millersville University issued a timely warning, a campus-wide alert that included his photograph, the grainy still from the security camera, and a description of what he was wearing. The search began in earnest. The news that a student was missing spread quickly. University police, local law enforcement from Manor Township, and state police immediately launched a comprehensive search of the campus and the surrounding areas. They deployed K-9 units, drones, and teams of officers who searched on foot, combing through the fields and dense woodlands that border the university. For 2 long, agonizing days, they searched for any sign of the missing freshman. The campus community and Matthew's family held onto a sliver of hope. Perhaps he had just needed to get away, overwhelmed by the first week of school. Perhaps he was with a friend, had lost his phone, and would turn up safe and sound. But as the hours stretched into days, a sense of dread began to set in. On the morning of Saturday, August 28, 2021, the search came to its tragic conclusion. In a wooded area in Manor Township, a community adjacent to the Millersville campus, authorities located Matthew's body. He was 19 years old. Later that day, the university president, Daniel A. Wuba, sent a solemn message to the campus community. "It is with a grieving heart that I let you know of the death of 19-year-old Matthew Mindler," he wrote. "Our thoughts of comfort and peace are with his friends and family during this difficult time." The boy who had bravely tried to step out of the spotlight and into a new life was gone. The discovery of Matthew's body answered the question of his whereabouts, but it opened a new agonizing inquiry into the circumstances of his death. An autopsy was conducted by the Lancaster County Coroner's Office. On Monday, August 30th, the office made its initial ruling. Matthew Mindler's manner of death was suicide. The specific cause of death was deferred, pending the results of a toxicology report. In the weeks that followed, his mother, Monica, began a painful process of piecing together her son's final days and his hidden mental state. Through interviews, she shared her devastating insights. She learned that his internet search history in the days leading up to his death revealed that he had been researching methods of suicide. She discovered that he had used his Amazon account to purchase a chemical substance for $15, a substance with a common industrial use, but one that is lethal when ingested in high concentrations. This was not an impulsive act. It was planned. On October 14, 2021, nearly 2 months after his death, the Lancaster County Coroner's Office released its final determination. The toxicology results were complete. Matthew Mindler's cause of death was sodium nitrate toxicity. He had died by suicide, using a readily available chemical he had ordered online. This revelation cast a chilling new light on the tragedy. It pointed to a distinctly modern horror, the existence of online communities and accessible marketplaces that facilitate self-harm. Matthew, in his moment of deepest despair, had found not a helpline, but a how-to guide. His death was not only a tragedy of mental illness, but also a tragedy of access. His mother, grappling with an unimaginable loss, also had the heartbreaking task of reading the final note he had left for her on his phone. The contents are a private, final communication between a son and his mother, but Monica shared its devastating essence. He apologized for what he was about to do. He expressed a profound fear of moving forward, a terror of the future he could not face. It confirmed her deepest fear. The son she knew as quiet and reserved was, in fact, paralyzed by a crippling anxiety he had hidden from the world. His acting past was not the burden. His future was. The open-ended, unscripted nature of the life ahead of him had become a source of unbearable dread. The story of Matthew Mindler, which began on a hopeful autumn day in 2001, ended on a tragic summer morning in 2021. His life, a story of 20 years, was one of extraordinary experiences and quiet, profound struggles. It was a journey that took him from the ordinary world to the extraordinary, and then on a brave quest to find his way back to the ordinary again. But the silent illness he carried, an illness of fear and anxiety, ultimately convinced him that the journey of life itself was one he could no longer continue. His story, told in its unchangeable chronological order, stands as a devastating testament to the hidden battles fought by so many and the catastrophic consequences of a pain that goes unseen. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and subscribe so you won't miss out on future uploads. See you next time.